Hari Bol.
Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dhamma Ki Jai, Mayapur Dhamma Ki Jai, Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai, Ganga Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Srimate Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giridhavan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So today's class will be on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, and verse 1 to 11, recorded on February the 1st, 1971 in Allahabad. That is 6-3-111, recorded February the 1st, 1971 in Allahabad.
These six Goswamis, they are directly recipients of the causeless mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, they were empowered to diminish the sinful burden of the world. Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bhado Bhaviva Bharavahanta. When people become too much sinful, the earth becomes overburdened. At that time, Pratyanaya Sadhuna Vinasaya Siddhistita, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes. The Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personally Krishna, came and empowered his disciples, and they diminished the overburden on this earth. Nisammadeva savatupavarnitam prattahakintam abhidharmaraja evam hatagya vihatan murari noidishakai jassa basi janoyam उत्ताष्टागमित इत्याह जमस्य इति के ऋषे जमस्य दंडभंग कुतश्चन कस्माच्चित् अभि सुतबुद्धो नासीत् एतदेव अस्मिन् अर्थे यद्वा न सुतबुद्ध एतद् जमदूत निराकरणं च आसीत् अतः सर्वस्यापि लोकस्य संशयः वर्तते तञ्च तस्य अन्ना न छिनत्तीति मे विनिश्चितम् अथ कथयति शेषः. The purport of this verse is that Maharaj Parikshit became astonished how it was possible to surpass the order of Jamaraj. Just like in our ordinary experience, if there is a warrant issued by the magistrate, nobody can check it. There is no power by law. The man who is ordered to be arrested, the police force must arrest him because the warrant order is there. So similarly, Jamaraj is the police chief on account of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his business is to arrest all the criminals and give them proper punishment. In his atmosphere, the Jamalok, such sinful persons are taken there and put into the different types of hellish condition of life. And when one is practiced to that a little, immediately a particular type of body is offered and he begins his karma again with that body. So, in this case, in the case of Ajani, there is exception. He was ordered to be arrested by Jamaraj, but Vishnuduta released him. In one sense it is unlawful. But Vishnuduta or Vishnu can do everything. That is his almighty. Even though in the material world there was no power to check the order or to stop the order of Jamaraj, but it was possible only by the order of the Supreme Personality of God. Nishammadeva savatupavarnitam prattaha kintanati dharmaraja. So, inquiring Parikshit Maharaj, after hearing the statements of the assistant, what the Jamaraja, the superintendent of death, replied, Evan Hatagga Vidakan Mudari Nardishabjasavati Januyam Jamasya Devasya Na Dandabhanga Murari Nardisikoi Kimbarai Devam Vitan Ataiva Ata Agya. Murari Nirdesika means the follower of the order of Murari, the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna's another name is Murari because he killed one demon of the name Mura. So, Murari Noidesikoi, the followers of the order of Murari. Base Janoyam, the Janoyam, this population of this material world, they are under the control of the Jamaraj, and how it was possible that the servant of Murari could check Jamasya Devasya Nadandhavanga Kritasthana Sri Sutapurva Asit Rishi, my dear Rishi, because Sudeva Goswami is a great Rishi. And he is addressing, my dear Rishi, I have never heard such incidences before. Jamasya Devasya na Dandabhanga. Whenever Jamaraj has given an order of punishment to anyone, it was never baffled. I have never heard like this. Sutasthana Rishi Sudapudvyasi Etan Mune Vishtati Loka Samsayam Nahi Tadanna iti me vinistitam. It is a great doubt in my mind how it is possible. But that doubt can be disseminated simply by you. Nahi tadanna iti me vinistita. Besides yourself, nobody can drive away these doubts in my mind. Sukovas Bhagavat Purusairadam Jamyana Prati Hatoddama Pating Vigga Payamaso Jamam Sang Jamani Patim. Bhagavat Purusai, by the assistance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the associate, Bhagavat Purus. Purus means men, and Bhagavat Purusa. The men who are engaged in the service of the Vaishnavas, they are also Bhagavat Purusa. They have no other business than to execute the order of the Supreme Personality of God. So, in Vaikuntha, there are such devotees, servants of Lord. So, Bhagavat Purusai Rajan Jamya Prati Hatoddama. Sukadeva Goswami, Jamya, the servants of Jamaraj, their attempts were baffled by the Bhagavat Purusai. Bhagavat Purusai Rajan Jamma Prati Hatoddama Patim Viggapayamasu Jamam Sang Jamaning Patim. Sang Jamaning Patim. There are many directors within this world who controls the activities, exactly just like the magistrate, the commissioner, the governor, they are called Rashtrapati, Rajyapal. Here also, Samjamanipati. Those who keep everything in regular way, they are called Samjamanipati. So, Jamaraj is the supreme Samjamanipati. Here in this material world we have experienced many persons who are keeping things in order, they are called Samjamani. Samjamani means restriction. Just like the police officer restricts, you cannot enter this way, you cannot this that. They are called Samjamaniput. And Jamaraj is the supreme Samjamaniput, supreme controller of this law and order. Then the Jamaduta, after approaching Jamaduta, they bring approval in the matter of being unable to arrest Ajami. They returned and immediately inquired from the Jamaraj as follows. Kati santi hasastarat jiva lokasya vai prabho trividhyam kurvatam karma phaladhi bhakti hetava. Kati santi the akepati akevahu. Immediately they simply they were under the impression that Jamaraj is the supreme superintendent or supreme controller of this criminal department. But how is that? We are checked, we are baffled to do our duty, so therefore they are inquiring, my dear Lord, how many controllers are there? Are you single or there are many other controllers? Because they are under the impression, just like Alpamedhasa, they are less intelligent, they think that a particular type of demigod is all in all. Just like here there are so many constables, you are seeing they control the crowd, and the village men, sometimes they think they are the supreme control. They cannot think that above these constables there are many other higher officers, up to the commissioner of police or the minister of law and order and governor. They do not know the constitution. Here, similarly, the Jamadutas, they were executing the order of Jamaraj all along. This is the first incident in their life that they were stopped in executing the order. Therefore they are asking, Kati Santiha Shastara. Shastra means those who keep things in law and order. This Sanskrit word, Shastra, it comes from the verbal root Shasdhav. So from Shasdhatu, Shasan. Shasan means controlling, governing. And from Shasdhatu, Shastra. Shastra means scripture, that is also controlling. But Shastra is meant for gentlemen. But those who are not gentle, for them there is no Shastra, there is Shastra. Shastra means weapon. The police force, the military force, the weapons, the sword, the bullet, so many, they are called Shastra. Shastra, Shastra, Shasan, coming from the same root. And from the same root also Shishya. Shishya means who voluntarily accepts the controlling of the spiritual mouth. So let's just see how in Sanskrit one verbal root creates so many words. The Sanskrit grammar is therefore so wonderful. You can create hundreds of words from one root. So here the word is Shastara. Shastra means who takes the shastra, weapons, and just as the police force, military force, they have got weapons and the control, not by books. Those who are gentle, they are controlled by the scripture, Shastra. And those who are not gentle, they are controlled by Shastra. So, Shastara jiva lokasya vai prabhu traividyam jatha bhavati jadva traividyam jatha bhavati tatha karma kurvada tathaiva karma phalasya abhibhakti tava kati santiti. Now, traividha means here in the material world, a person is contaminated by either of the three qualities of this material world. The modes of goodness, the modes of passion, the modes of ignorance, they are called traividha. Traividham kurvata karma. Phalabhi bhakti hitav. And according to the association of different qualities of the modes of nature, those who are under the influence of tamoguna, their symptoms are laziness, sleeping. Those who are under the modes of passion, they want to rule over. And those who are under the control of goodness, to them, everything revealed in its proper way. But that is called, goodness means one who knows things as they are. Ignorance means they do not know things as they are. And passion, they try to control over everything. So, the Jamaduta inquires whether there are three departments for the three kinds of men. Jadi su bahavo loki shastar dandadharina kasya syatana nava kasya mritusya amritameva. Santu bahava ko virodha satrahu jaditi mrityu dukkham amritam sukham trisha sastrina vipratipasto te uhe kasya syatang na kasyapi pratimandhat utkam etetu kasava na satyam evam ekam sukham kartum ichhati dukkhan chanya oikamata tu tayo paraspara karyanumodanena uhairapi prapte kosavate ubhe api na sat itatha. Now, they are suggesting that Jadishu Bahava Loki Sata Dandadhari. If there are many controllers, Dandadharina. Danda, perhaps, the king has a rod, what is called? Scepter? Scepter. So that is called Danda. dandadharina. Just like police, they have got a danda. So that means the sign of ruler. The king has got a scepter, the police force has got a revolver or a baton, like that. So everyone who is meant for ruling over the person, they are called dandadharina. Dharina means one who holds a danda. Jadisu bahava loke shastara danda. If there are many controllers and many holders of danda, kasya sata nava kasya mritusya amtameva. So who is controller of the person liable to die, and who is controlled, who is the controller of the persons who are not to die. Kintu shastri bahutesya bahunam ihakarminam shastrityam upacharahi jatha mandala bhattinam. No, bahunam karminam bhavusthaya bahavo shastara bhavantu tathasati nayam dushasya. Bahunam karminam bhavusthaya shastri bahute shastritam shat ghatate kintu jada jat sarvashastri mukham शास्त्रितं तद एकददेश उपचारमात्रमेव स्यात् यथा चक्रवर्तिना एव मुख्यं शास्त्रितं मंडलवर्तिनाम उपचारे मात्रं निरंकुश त अभावात् किंतु शास्त्रित बहुते शाद बहुनामिव कर्मिणां शास्त्रितं उपचार ही यथा मंडलवर्तिना. Now, it may be that there are many controllers, but who is the chief controller and how his actions are done, that was their inquiry. Atastamek bhutanam sesadanam ishara shasta danno dharo ninam subha subha vivesana. So far we know that you are the only controller. Tam eka. Eka means one. You are the only bhutana of all living entities. Sesarana adhisara. Those who accept the control of the supreme controller, you are the chief of them. Sesarana adhisara. Shastra dandadhara nina. Subha subha vivekan. Subha means auspicious and asubha means inauspicious. You judge over the auspicious and inauspicious activities of the living entities, and you are therefore supreme controller, dandadhara, a holder of the scepter. In this way they began to address. Tasthati bhito danna na loki bhakkati adhuna chaturvi radbhutui siddhai ragati vipralambita. But at the present moment we think that your power of controlling is now finished. Because we are checked in executing our duty by 4 very nice looking personalities. Chaturvi, Adbhutai. Adbhutai is very wonderful. Chaturvi Adbhutai Siddhai Rajyati Vipram. We have been checked. Jasmadevam Shastri Bahuttam na ghatate atas tameva eva shasta subhasva vinapti tatha. So, we know that you are the only controller, but because we have been checked, we have been baffled in executing your order, and some wonderful men, 4 wonderful men, checked us. Therefore it is to be understood that your control is now over. Niyamanam tabadishat asmabhi jatana griham vyamochayam patukinam chitya pasam tasajjate. While we are attempting to arrest this person of Yami, Niyamanam, by your order, Tabadishat, Asmahi, Jatanagriha, we are trying to bring him in the Jatanagriha. Jatanagriha means cell where punishment is offered. Just like in the prison house, there are different types of cells for different kinds of punishment. So we are trying to bring him to the control room in order to give him punishment, but we are just checked. Vyamosan patukinan chitta pasan prasajjati. Jasmadeva shasti bhoktam na ghatate vipralambita vanchita lambita istat tadevaho niyamanamiti. So we have been baffled. So we think your control is now over. Tansi viditum ichyama judino mannase chamam narayana iti abhihita ma bhai ditta jajuddutam. Now, tansi viditum ichyami. Now what is the actual fact? Please let us know. Jadi na mannase chama. If you think this is the way of asking superior some question, this is the way. Not that challenging, please answer me, please tell me like this. You find always the Parikshit Maharaj or Arjuna or anyone, this is the process of submission. Here the Jamaduta says, we wish to learn from you what is the actual fact in this incident, and you can tell me, jadi no mannase chamam, if you think that we shall be able to understand. The purpose is that if you put a question to a superior, to your master, so it is not that he is bound to answer. Because sometimes a particular question is put forward, the answer is not understandable by the questioner. So the superior, the master may refuse that this answer is not to be given to you. For that reason, you cannot demand that you answer, you must answer. No, this is the way. In Parikshit Maharaj also, whenever he puts a question to Sukadeva Goswami, he very submissively says, if you think that I am capable of understanding, please answer this question. Arjuna also said like that. Here also, the Jamadutas, they are also putting forward very submissively, jadi mannase khamam, jadi no mannase, if you think us competent to understand the answer, then please inform me. Bhaganayani uvas, iti deva sa pristya prajasam jamano jama rita sa dutana pratyaha Smaran Padam Bhujam Hare. Now, Jamaraj will reply, very interesting reply. So, before replying, Prita Sadhukan Satyaha Smaran Padambujam Hare. This is the Vaishnava behavior. As the subordinate puts the question very submissively, similarly, the superior also is not proud that I can answer this. No. He immediately remembers the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and also begs because these answers and questions are not ordinary. They are all authorized. Therefore, the master also remembers the lotus feet of the Lord, that whatever will help me to speak, I don't. He is not also proud. And they are not disobedient or puffed up, impudent. This is the process of questioning answer. The inquirer should be very submissive. And the answer giver also should always remember the lotus feet so that right answer can be given. This is the way of the spiritual inquiry and spiritual answer. This is called Sagoshti. Goshti, this is called Sagoshti. Amongst the society, the answers and questions should be dealt in that spirit. The one who is questioning, he should be submissive, not in a challenging mode, and one who is answering, he should remember the lotus feet of the Lord so that right answer can come from it. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So we only have 10 minutes, stretching it to 15 minutes. So usually what we do is that after Srila Prabhupada gives a class, a lecture, we just do a little short recap so that we can also remember what he has spoken of, and we can try and imbibe it and meditate on it for the rest of the day. So before we begin, we'll just start with a short prayer. Om Jnanatamandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasme Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Shatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadigora Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this morning I was listening to a lecture, and there was a very profound statement that was made, which was really nice, which was that surrender is an external manifestation of our faith internally. And so therefore, when I actually look at the Sri Sri Sad Goswami Ashtakam, it is said here that Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, all of these Goswamis, they were always engaged in chanting the holy name, but they were also engaged in distributing the holy name, whether it was to the ruffians or to whomever. So I want to make this class a little bit fun, and fun in the sense that we're going to put it within a Sankirtan frame. So, because every single one of us at some point, we're going to have someone, whether it's on the street or whether here in the temple, that's going to ask us questions that are hard. What do we do? Do we just say, I don't know, or no, and stuff like that? Because, you see, we're the first contact. We are the first contact of people outside that come here and visit here. So then Srila Prabhupada encouraged every single one of us that we should be knowledgeable, that we should have some degree of good knowledge, so that therefore we can share Krishna consciousness and do it justice. So, and all of these are co-aligned with the lecture, so it's not that, it's just random questions. So my first question is that, imagine someone comes to the temple or you're on the street and you manage to stop someone, and they may say to you that, many people have told me that if I don't follow their religion and I sin too much, then there's a chance that I'll be punished and I'll go to hell. So I'm not a follower of fear-mongering religion. What's the difference with your religion? What's the difference with what you practice? Why should I follow your philosophy? And it's based on, so try and kind of align it with what Prabhupada said, please. Thank you. Is there a mic? Anyone? We'll do one question for this section and one question for the ladies. Yeah.
I would say what we are following is a science. Religion can change. A Hindu can become Muslim, Muslim can become Christian, but ours is a science. And if you're ready to follow this science, we can explain to you how to connect to God.
You can say it's okay that you're afraid. It's actually healthy, because fear is just the initial step towards, let's say, developing duty and ultimately developing love. So if you're afraid, that means you're scratching the surface of the karmic reactions of the particular tradition. Then you understand the dharma. Then you understand that there are certain attributes and certain things we should imbibe and function by. But ultimately, all of these two things, they should lead to love or bhakti. So fear is just a semi-step.
Thank you so much, Antaranga Prabhu and Srinivas Prabhu. Anyone from the ladies section? Perfect. Thank you so much.
Krishna, I think our religion is different because it doesn't teach you to fear God, it teaches you to love God. And teaches you how Krishna can be your friend, or love all your family, love family members. So that's why our religion is different.
Yes, amazing. And you see, thank you so much for sharing all that. That's really wonderful. And you see, the thing is, when you're out on books, people like storytelling so much also. They like seeing that, what isn't possible for them has been possible for someone else. So it's really amazing, actually, when we look at also what Srila Prabhupada said in the beginning section. He actually relayed the story of Ajay Mila. That even though he's made so many mistakes and, he committed so many sins, in the end, just by actually shouting out to Narayan, the Vishnu Dutas actually came to save him, rather than the Yamadutas and Yamaraj trying to take him away. So we can also share stories. We can share stories, pastimes, examples that, okay, you think you're sinful. What about Jagaya Madai? What about all these other people that have committed so many other grave mistakes, and yet somehow or another, they were forgiven, whatever. And then people feel inspired by that. So another question is, God doesn't exist. If he did, then how can we cannot see him? Therefore, I choose to believe in nothing. What would you say to that? I have my own sort of understanding, but yeah, let's just explore the dynamic of that question. You hear it all the time. People say, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. What would you say? And someone from this section after.
You can ask them, can you see microbes? Can you see germs? Sorry? Can you see your brain? And if the answer is no, that means, so what you're using to see these items? So you utilize particular instrument like a microscope or X-ray or something like that. Therefore, you can't see God because you're not utilizing any instruments. If you read Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna, take to following spiritual master, then that's the tool to see God.
Anyone else? Seems yes, Prabhu. And then ladies section.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, first of all, I believe everything comes from Krishna. So, if someone says like that, how can I see God? For me, it's like realizing God. It's not about seeing God. Secondly, that Prabhuji said that about if anyone reads Gitas, if anyone reads, go to spiritual master. There are so many people I found reading Gitas, going to spiritual master, but they are not realizing Krishna that much. Actually, I think the power of realization comes from Krishna straight away. So actually, Krishna is playing game with all of us. Like Krishna make us confused so that we can pray better. After sometimes he removes the removes the obstacles from us so that we can realize him. Actually, everything comes from him. So we believe it or not, we see him or not, we realize or not, we are part of him. That's it.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone from the ladies section? If it could be someone different also. There's so many ladies there. So.
I would just give Hare Krishna. I would just give an example where a baby which is in mother's womb, it might not see existence of mother because it is in it. I think it takes time. Maybe a state of awareness is not where we can see him, but Srila Prabhupada could see him. I think it is the time, and we have to give ourselves time.
Great. We're putting a lot of emphasis into what we can't see, but what about also the things that we do see? If we look at it, like one meditation that I had based on this is that Prabhupada was talking about how, there's Vaishnavas, there's Bhagavat Purushas, those that actually are engaged in devotional service. So then the question we can ask ourselves is there's demoniac personalities and godly personalities. And so where are they also getting their inspiration from? They're all worshipping something. So whether we like to believe it or not, we're all worshippers. But the question is, what is the source of their worship? So yeah, as important as it is that we put emphasis into the things that we can't see, but what about also the things that we do see? Prayojana Prabhu?
I'd like to quote from Kishore Prabhu, a Prabhupada disciple. It was in Scotland. He was asked a question from a challenge of a lady in the audience. Can you see God? He said, yes. And then he says, can you see God? And she said, and then he asked her, yeah, do you see God? And she said, no. She said, but he then said to her, do you want to see God? And she said, no. So it was her desire, was just trying to back up her disbelief.
Precisely.
Do you want to see God? And her actual thing was that she didn't want to see God. She wasn't interested.
Yeah, so whether we want to see God, whether that's also desire. So thank you so much, Prayojana Prabhu. One final question, because I know everyone's probably hungry, and this is a very important question. Really important question. I come across this question a lot. Religion is there to control everyone. I don't want to be controlled. I want to live my life free. What would you say? Okay, but based on what Prabhupada said. Anyone? This is a final question. I'm sure you're going to get this a lot. People want to be free. So religion is there just to control people. It's there to control society and civilization. I don't want to be controlled. I want to live free. I want to do whatever I want to do.
These ancient teachings actually help you to control yourself. And once you can control yourself, then you can actually be truly free. Otherwise, everyone else is simply being controlled by their desires, etc.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Panchatattva Prabhu. Taruna Prabhu?
Fact is that you are never free. Never, ever. Even one single moment. You follow this or that, you cannot be free. So this is just illusion. No, I'm free. Or what free?
Truth. Thank you, Taruna Prabhu. Anyone? Final sort of feedback? Anyone different? Don't be shy.
Hare Krishna. So I just would like to give an analogy. So like kite flying. So if we consider ourselves as kite and the thread as religion, the kite would feel that the thread is binding me, but it is actually helping it to fly high and actually stay grounded. When you cut the thread, it might fly high for a moment and then crash down. So I think that is how we could relate it with our lives.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Prabhupada actually mentions something really nice here. He says that there's something called Shastraha and then also Shastra. So then there's weapons and then there's also books. Those that are gentle, they are controlled by scriptures. And those that are not gentle, they're controlled by weapons. So actually every single one of us are controlled. Whether we're controlled by books or weapons, then that's really down to our choice. So we can't be free in this world. We can never be free. But we can choose. We have that free will. Externally, we may not be free, but internally, we have the free will to choose what we want to be influenced by. So with that being said, I always I think we should kind of make it into a regular habit to listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures, not just on Mondays, but every day. Because Srila Prabhupada has so much to share and give. And every single one of the things that he says and shares and gives, we can imbibe it and practice it in our own life. And then by doing that, that's the greatest Sankirtan. Because we're actually preaching, we're practicing what we preach. And we're showing by example. Rather than just being another religion, we go out there and then we just kind of, this is what the Vedas says, this is what the Bhagavad Gita says. But then behind the scenes, we're getting up to a lot of nonsense. So I make it into we should all listen to Prabhupada regularly. Thank you so much. With that being said, Antara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nittai Gaur Pramanande.